Quirks on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. The Dennis, Dylan, and NW.
Welcome to the Run TMC podcast. That is the Run, the Marin County podcast, a podcast mostly about basketball and very much about Marin County, California. I am Duffy Ballard, and I'm your co-host. This is season 3, episode 23 of the Run TMC podcast. And with me this morning, ready to go. He's got his headset on. I don't see any coffee, but I do see a guitar in the background. I see alert eyes darting around, ready, and now they're bugging out. Good morning, Dave. And this is a different type of episode, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I channeled Kash Patel for 3 seconds there.
There you go. Perfect.
Yes, I've had plenty of coffee. Don't you fret, Duff. And I went iced this morning.
Interesting.
You know, this was a great interview. This was an awesome episode. One disappointment. Our friend Patrick Heij from Marin Lately joined us, and he's not really a coffee guy. And that's okay. Patrick, we still love you, but not a coffee guy. We'll give a little precursor to the interview. But this is a change of pace for us. I would equate this one to the Michael Pritchard interview that we did a couple years ago. Michael
Season 1.
Pritchard, obviously a great stand-up comedian, incredible career, and a Marin guy. And here, Patrick Heij from Marin Lately is a humorist, a satirist. He's brilliant. He's hilarious. He's not really a basketball guy, but that's okay. He's very much a Marin guy. And this is a Marin-focused podcast with someone who's building a really cool product and community.
Right. So we're going to get into Patrick's intro just in a little bit. But if you're wondering about Marin Lately and you're like, what the heck is that? I've never heard of that. Well, you can Google it and you can go look up a New York Times article from August 2025 that will dive into long form details about this satire of the county of Marin, which we love, but we also know has its particular quirks and is a place that is ripe for living the good life, but also laughing at ourselves a little bit and perhaps some of the excesses that we enjoy here in Marin. So we'll get into that in a moment. But first, we're going to talk about satire more broadly, Dave. So we had talked a little bit about maybe having an intro to this episode where we talked about some of the really funny figures in sports, in particular basketball sports, like Bill Walton, the announcer, and Charles Barkley and Bill Simmons. But we decided that because this episode might capture, some non-basketball people that are fans of Marin Lately, and there are, I think Patrick said, 15,000 subscribers.
Yep.
So that's pretty impressive. That we would stick with just hitting on some favorite headlines from one of our favorite publications of all time, The Onion. And this is kind of appropriate because if you haven't checked out Marin Lately, and I don't know that Patrick would necessarily embrace this caricature, but it is more or less true that Marin Lately is a very localized version of The Onion, specific for our Marin County community.
Duff, he literally says in our interview, it's like The Onion from Marin. So yeah, he'll embrace it, but what he's doing is obviously unique to this and to this area and bringing his own perspective to it. But, when we ask him in the interview kind of what is Marin Lately, he said it's basically like The Onion from Marin. Now, The Onion, I think most of our listeners probably know The Onion. If not, you can Google it. The Onion started 30-something years ago. I believe it was Madison, Wisconsin, some funny college folks sitting around a room just making up fake headlines. And The Onion never misses. I mean, it's still funny. I went to it yesterday. I went online and I was cracking up. So to our new listeners, as Duffy mentioned, this is a pretty dorky, niche Marin basketball podcast, but the Marin part is important, and we embrace the community of Marin. It's a interesting place. Obviously, gets a lot of press in the world, particularly these days politically. But we've got a wonderful charm about us, and Patrick Heij has kind of put his finger on the pulse. And as I mentioned to you and to Patrick, about a year ago or so, I started getting all these text messages from people like, "Oh, you got to check out this site. This is hilarious." And I think that went around virally, that people were just starting to send these Marin Lately headlines around. And then this New York Times article came out and it became a much bigger thing. Duffy, to your credit, you just reached out to Patrick and you said, "Hey, we're a Marin podcast. We love what you're doing. Would you like to join us?" And he was awesome. He's like, "Yep, let's do it." And he listened to the podcast and he liked it, and it was great. But The Onion is a great kind of founding father for what Patrick does. And given our basketball nerdness, The Onion has some amazing basketball headlines, and we thought we would share those from over the years. So why don't you start?
All right. What we're going to do is I'm going to give a headline, Dave, and then you're going to explain why we think it's funny.
Okay. This is a little improv. Let's do it.
Rest of Lakers trying to act casual while LeBron James spanks Bronny.
Okay, so LeBron James is a basketball player, everybody. He's really good. He's 41 years old, and he's been in the league for 23 years, stuff. So he's incredible. But his son, Bronny, is on the same team. This is the first time, I think, in history in the NBA that's happened. So this is poking fun at the fact that LeBron is actually playing with his son.
Right.
There's another funny, I'll add on to that. There's another funny headline. LeBron clarifies which teammates are not his children.
I do think it's funny, Dave, that it seems like when the Lakers are winning games by a comfortable margin, you'll probably see Bronny in there. And I think sometime not too distant past, there was a alley-oop between James and James. So that was pretty cool. But when they're losing games, not so much is my observation. Bronny doesn't see a lot of court.
Yes, I think that's true. Not to get too controversial with the Lakers, but I would say many fans would conclude that if Bronny James was not LeBron's son, Bronny probably would not be in the NBA. He's a really good player. He's amazing. But the NBA is rarefied air. But it's a great story that father and son playing together. So,
yep. All right. Well, you gave us one, so how about I will go with this one. You found this one initially, but it's the first one in my eyes land on here, and I think it's really funny. Steph Curry finally finishes eating mouth guard.
This is one of my favorites. If you watch Steph Curry play, Steph Curry's a basketball player for the Golden State Warriors. He is constantly chewing his mouth guard. It's like his little nervous tick, or not a nervous tick. It's just a habit of his. So in between every play, he's got this mouth guard that he takes out of his mouth and he starts chewing on it. And so I thought this was funny. Steph Curry finally finishes eating his mouth guard.
Yeah, and it made me wonder, how many mouth guards has he gone through in his career? Is it a different one each game, or does he kind of carry them over at all? Many players will have new shoes for each game, which to me never made sense, because like a good shoe needs to feel like it's broken in a little bit. Otherwise, like it's too stiff, too tight, too many blisters. So maybe the same with a mouth guard. Maybe like a slightly well broken in mouth guard, slightly chewed, is better than a fresh one every game.
Totally true. I don't know. We could do some big data analytics on Steph's mouth guard.
We'll have Steph on the podcast and we'll ask him.
Absolutely. Okay, let's. This next one, I want you to explain this one, Duff, because this one cracks me up.
I'll try.
Okay, give it your best. Victor Wembanyama returns from concussion speaking fluent French.
So that is funny, Dave, because Victor Wembanyama is actually French. And so to basketball fans, he is well known to be French, and he played for the French national team that lost a very close matchup with the United States in the last Olympics. But to people who may not know him, that would be perhaps not funny, because they'd be like, what?
But it is.
You do a lot of Duolingo?
But it is very
There's
funny.
another good one here. So where's the one, Dave? Here, there's one about the Jumbotron.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he it's like Victor Wembanyama high fives Jumbotron, because the dude is like 7'6". I mean, he's a massive human, and he's also really good at basketball.
Yeah.
So Victor Wembanyama issued technical for punching Jumbotron.
Yeah. Well, it kind of looked that way the last game. He had in the last playoff game against the Timberwolves, he had 12 blocked shots, and just an incredible. His I think his record for himself, but also record for NBA playoffs ever. And some of these blocks were like almost like off the stanchion above the basket. And at least one he blocked twice. Some controversy, maybe a couple of them were goaltends, but I haven't looked at the film, Dave.
Yep. I laugh thinking about, and we've, again, 30 years of The Onion. I just think about how much marijuana and Coors Light was in these Madison, Wisconsin rooms when these men and women were coming up with these hilarious headlines.
All right, let's do a couple more. So this one's about one of my favorite players of all time and one of the legends of the NBA. And it is Tim Duncan offers to teach kids fundamentals of not being interesting. Why is that funny?
This is a great one. This is a real deep cut for true basketball fans. But Tim Duncan is one of the greatest players in the history of the league. But he was just extremely boring. He wasn't controversial. He was very quiet. He was just extremely good at what he did, very good at basketball. And he did it in a very fundamental way. So there are some players who have a lot of flair, who fly through the air, who have attitude, who play with kind of flamboyance. Tim Duncan was just very fundamental. He was like the Toyota Corolla in a world of Lamborghinis, but he was very effective and very good. So this is funny just because he was this extremely successful, all-time all-star, but just very boring. So teaching kids.
Called him,
go ahead.
The big fundamental was his nickname, I think maybe from Barkley, but he was just exceptionally good at grabbing a rebound with his really long arms, often without jumping, pivoting, and making a perfect outlet pass and starting to break the other way. A underrated play, not flashy, but very important for the outcome and productivity of his team.
Love it. Okay, I got my last one for you, which also made me giggle vociferously. Mavericks general manager trades away all of team's basketballs.
Yes, this is funny, Dave, because I think Mavericks fans are still lamenting the trade of last season of superstar, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the world, Luka Doncic, for often injured and now currently injured Anthony Davis, and essentially trading away the franchise player from a franchise that had just been to the NBA Finals and leaving many, many bewildered and ultimately leaving himself without a job. So this is funny because it takes it to the next level. And this is something that Patrick talks about in the interview, that there are a lot of observations that could be good ideas for satire, but sometimes it's like how you package them to take them to that next level that makes them funny. So that's what's going on here, Dave.
Absolutely. Great stuff. We love The Onion. And again, what Patrick has done with creating this Marin Lately community is just kind of take that germ of an idea and expand it, but then obviously narrow it to this really funny world that we live in here in Marin. But interestingly, and he talks about this in the interview, a lot of his subscribers are not Marin people. They don't live in Marin. So maybe they're expats who have moved away, but also they're folks who just see some semblance of their own lives and their own communities in the fun that he pokes at Marin.
Yep. So Dave, we're going to get into a quick intro here, and we cover also the bio in the interview. But first, a little pause to thank our sponsors. This episode with Patrick was recorded at the Hub in San Anselmo, our favorite burger and beer and salad joint in the county. We're also sponsored by Encore Custom on the web and on 4th Street in San Rafael. We've got Batiste Rum and our friend John Lawson and the Social Club with a K in Sausalito. You'll hear more about them at the end of the interview. And before we move on to Patrick, I would be remiss not to bring up one of the greatest, if not the greatest satirist of all time, Dave, and someone who spent a good amount of his time here in the Bay Area, and that is Mark Twain. And I want to give you just one Louis C.K. take on a famous Mark Twain quip. Can I do that?
Approved.
Okay, yeah, I didn't make this up myself. But anyway, so Mark Twain once said about San Francisco, he once said, the hottest woman I ever dated was a man in San Francisco. And there's some truth there. Isn't that good?
Little curveball. We're all expecting the hottest or the coldest winter ever spent was a summer. But Duff, that's why you're constantly innovating.
Right.
But that was a Louis C.K.? That was a Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
That was funny. Nice.
Yep. Okay. So on to our intro. So Patrick Heij, which is Heij, we butchered the name right away, right off the bat, like we do probably every 5 or 6 episodes.
Yep.
We don't do our research in terms of enunciation, and we get it wrong right off the bat. But that's part of just what makes us, authentic, Dave. So Patrick Heij, he is a native of the Bay Area. He grew up in San Francisco. His mother was a famous local writer and satirist as well. And then Patrick moved to Marin when he had a wife and kids. He's got 3 kids. He lives here locally. He loves Marin activities. He loves mountain biking. He loves spending time with his kids. He also did quite a bit of writing for other publications, including the New Yorker. He has a New Yorker page you can look up and we'll put in the show notes, and for Vice News. But pretty much now he's focused on his new endeavor of Run Lately and the endeavor of keeping his household sane with three young kids spaced 2 years apart. So as you say, David, excuse me, Dave. As you say, it was our pleasure, and we are very grateful to have Patrick on the podcast. And this was a fun discussion that touched a little bit on sport, and we tried to draw him out a little bit to see if we could, either draw out or maybe even provide some ideas about how youth sport here in Marin could be satired. But we didn't get a lot in the interview, but maybe we'll get something in follow-up.
Yeah, and by the way, his mother, Adair Lara, a great columnist, humorist, journalist, very well known around these parts. So he comes from good writing stock. And, you meet Patrick and he's just easygoing, very funny. And what he does, the beauty of what he does, and he's so good at it, is, we mentioned this in the interview, he's very relatable. The content that he produces is relatable. It's I could have thought of that. That's often what you think when you read some of his stuff. Same thing as The Onion, same thing as, Bill Simmons and other kind of famous humorists. Nate Bargatze, we talk about, some stand-up comedians who are just really down to earth, kind of use simple language. But man, what a great observation. And that's what Patrick has. Obviously, it looks easy. It's not. It's like a duck, serene above water, kicking furiously below water. He's constantly working hard.
Great, Dave.
Thank you so much. He's working hard to think of funny observations. And so Marin Lately, as we said, you could Google it, go to marinlately.com. He also has an Instagram. There's some videos on there. Support him, support a local guy who's building this community and doing something that's very cool and unique and really, really good.
And he makes a point in telling us afterwards. I mean, he really does love Marin County. I mean, this is not, there's no malice in this. He's just trying to find, little, edges of our community that are ripe for a good laugh. And, we become stronger at laughing at ourselves. So he's a great guy, and, this is a fun project. And, we talk a little bit in the interview, but there are going to be some people that might be offended, and for those, for very valid reasons. But, our takeaway was, this is fun. A local guy who loves the county, who is, giving us a little something to chuckle at on a weekly basis, or, twice weekly basis.
Absolutely. Good job, Duff, lining up Patrick. Patrick, thank you for joining us at the Hub. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. We certainly did. And everybody, hope you enjoy this discussion. I think it's worthwhile. And then we're not done with season 3. We've got a few more great interviews coming up, and we're excited to keep this thing going. So thank you all for the support.
Yep, we'll be back to basketball centric with the next couple as we close out this season, as we kind of sort of trickle our way to the end of the river of season 3, with the episodes that are spaced out a little bit more. But it hopefully makes you all appreciate them just even a little bit more than you normally do.
All right, let's take it away, Patrick.
Okay, Patrick.
Awesome. Just say something.
I'm Patrick Heij, the
Thanks.
guy behind Marin Lately.
There we go. You're sounding good.
And I'm here on your podcast, I guess.
You are on our podcast. Okay, we're here with Patrick Heij. You spell it Heji.
Heij.
Heij.
And don't get it wrong again.
Jesus.
Everyone.
That's my bad. That's my bad.
Fuck. I need to get a new intern.
Oh, you're fired.
It's completely
Heij.
understandable.
Then I definitely would have gone with High. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Patrick. Great to
My joke about that name is it looks like the name of a task lamp at IKEA.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the only one in the entire country with this name. So
Is it Scandinavian? What is it?
Yeah, Scandinavian, Swedish.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's very distinctive, but it requires some explanation every single time. It looks okay.
And it also requires proper spelling, Duffy. Okay.
Not my strengths.
That's okay. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Next
I
play.
hope I
Duff.
wasn't mean, Duffy. I was trying to be like a little shock jock and
Yeah,
give you a hard time, but a really nice person.
All right.
We butchered names.
We are thrilled. Well, I do it all the time. We're thrilled to have Patrick. So Patrick is the founding member, the owner, the creator of Marin Lately, which is an incredibly funny site. Well, how would you describe what you do? I mean,
it's a fake newspaper, really. People
Right.
call it like the Onion,
right.
localized for Marin. I didn't conceive it that way. I'm like totally flattered by the comparison. And obviously, like, I owe a lot of credit to like that whole tradition.
sure.
But it kind of just came to me that, there's basically nothing going on here. There are things that are happening,
Sure.
but not really. Like, this is sort of a protected little space where, things are generally pretty pleasant. And so if you want anything to happen, you kind of have to make it up. And yeah, it all kind of came to me one day and I just started doing it. And I can't believe that it's turned into what it's turned into. It was more just like a creative outlet for me. I just wanted to write again. And yeah, here we are.
It's brilliant. By the way, there was an article years ago in the New York Times about where I went to high school, Branson, in Ross, and they referred to Ross in the New York Times as an enclave within an enclave.
Right.
I thought that was a pretty apt description of Marin County.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's just wall-to-wall enclaves.
it's just enclaves. Here we are. We're all in our little enclaves. And here we are in the San Anselmo enclave.
Today's headline, or a recent headline.
Yeah. Marin's entire 18 to 35 demographic fits in small van they are using to move.
Yeah, it's not really suitable for that life stage, is it?
No, it's a kind of a slow suburban, a lot of families here.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on. But you have taken that, and obviously you're a very funny person. You're a great writer. We're going to get into that. So, we were talking before. Our podcast, obviously, we're pretty focused on the niche-y dorkiness of basketball in Marin, but every now and then we branch out and have other topics. Duffy and I are worldly people. We're not just basketball nerds. Like one example, we had Michael Pritchard, who was a stand-up comedian, who was great. We had him on to talk about just kind of life as a stand-up comedian. So for you, I feel like this is kind of our version of Guy Raz's How I Built This,
Yeah.
the Marin guy. I'm just fascinated in how you built this thing, because what went from obviously something funny that you think is funny, this Marin Lately thing caught like wildfire. I was getting text messages and emails, as I'm sure Duffy was, and others with, man, you got to check this out. This is amazing.
Right.
And it's just the people who are here really get it. And your observations are so astute and funny, and you keep churning them out and they keep being funny.
Mm.
So really well done.
It's getting harder, let me tell you.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting to hear you say people were texting you about it and so forth. I essentially had no idea what was going on with it. And like when it came out in the New York Times, this big story about it.
Yeah.
Then everybody heard about it. Everyone who ever lived in Marin heard about it all at the same time. I had 5 or 6 neighbors in my neighborhood tell me about it, and they didn't know it was me. So it was like, I was just like, well, this is, but up until that point, they were like forwarding the emails and texting, but I can't see it. I have no idea. I can see people sign up for subscriptions, but I still don't know to this day what happens with it after I send it out. But that's just like the coolest thing to hear, because it was never promoted.
Yeah.
And because I kept my name out of it for important reasons we could discuss, I I couldn't post it. So I would have friends post a couple things here on like Reddit or especially on Nextdoor.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Nextdoor.
Yeah. But that was, I couldn't have much of a footprint without exposing myself. And so it really all came down to people like voluntarily sharing it amongst themselves. And that's what happened, I guess, but I still have no idea.
Well, when you have a good product, that's what happens, right? It gets kind of organically gets shared. I'll give an example. Throughout this, we can just give examples of some of our favorite headlines. One that's amazing. Father has Saturdays free thanks to uncoordinated son.
I thought you might bring that one up.
That's pretty amazing.
Look, there's a silver lining to anything.
Sure.
You're like, okay, he's terrible, but we're traveling on the weekend.
Of course.
Number 4 chicken burger.
Right here? Oh no, that.
What?
We both
Did
got.
you guys
yeah.
get stuff to go?
Oh yeah, mine was to go. Yeah, give it to him.
Okay.
Give it to him.
Were the fries and Brussels sprouts for here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.
I have owner of the hub, Jerry Bugas, here right now in the flash.
Oh, is this live?
We're live.
Wow. Hey, podcast.
Well, any specials? Anything new going on at the hub?
Yeah, Jerry.
Yes, our ice cream now is Strauss Organic. And so we upgraded our ice cream to Strauss Organic for shakes, cups, and cones. So that's new. And very excited about that.
That's awesome.
Change. Yeah. And it's local.
Local, exactly. It's Marin.
So, yeah. Get on down
It's
for an organic shake.
It's a shake season.
It is shake
That's
season.
right.
All right. Thank you, Jerry.
That's right.
I'll let my kids know they only eat Strauss.
There's a headline right there.
I'm going to read. So I'm going to read Patrick what he sent us as his bio, given that this is a basketball podcast. Patrick has lived in Corte Madera, which is Spanish for the place with the malls, for several years. He grew up playing basketball, and if pressed, can find witnesses who saw him dunk in 1998. When his NBA dreams were cut short by gruesome knee injuries, he retired from the court with top honors, but he has become very good at watching sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
It's like that Tracy McGrady story right there.
very, very similar. So when you talk about your kind of anonymity, it's interesting. I think Duffy pointed this out, but my wife loves Bridgerton. There's Lady Whistledown in Bridgerton, who's kind of like this, narrator who's giving the gossip of this community, but she's anonymous. They don't know who she is.
Right.
And you're kind of like that. You're this commenter on, kind of poking fun at the crazy world that we live in here in Marin, but anonymously until now. Now you're going to be world famous because we have at least 25 listeners.
Once I'm on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what was that like? Like, talk about that. I mean, you started to allude to it. Like, is it weird being anonymous? Was it frustrating, or did you like it?
I had to do it at the beginning because, for one, I wanted to take myself out of it. Like, I had no idea what was going to happen with it, but I didn't want to make it any kind of like a vanity project. It was meant to really just be a gift.
Yeah.
And I put it out, and then it spreads on its own. And that's kind of how it worked. But I knew also that if my name was attached to it, now with like Nextdoor, there would just be some cranks on there who would come after me and discourage me at the beginning. When you're at the beginning of an idea, you got to protect it.
Right.
And then you got to get it big enough where you could refer to all the people who are reading it and tell this whatever crank to beat it.
Right.
So, and that's that definitely would have happened if I didn't do it the way I did it.
Okay.
And then I was kind of like, I'll just kind of keep going like this because it kind of made it more fun that nobody knew who was doing it. Of course, there was a few trusted people.
And so was that inflection point the New York Times? Was that the moment where it went from, okay, you're anonymous, it's this fun thing, to now you're getting national attention?
Yeah, exactly.
So how did the New York Times thing happen? Did they approach you? What?
I sent the reporter an article she had written about. It was almost like a Marin Lately article itself about people who had bought Teslas. And then, the whole Musk thing and the stickers
all the bumper stickers,
just putting us in this incredibly awkward position.
Right.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was really funny. You might want to check this out.
Yeah.
And she read it and she was like, oh, I like this. And then, but the process that was probably 4 months before the article came out.
Okay.
Because she has, there are more important things in the world to talk about.
Not really.
It's like Trump's first term.
Yeah.
I'm like, whenever you can fit it in.
Yeah. Right.
not first term, first year.
First year, yeah.
You know, so sort of a busy news cycle we've been having for the last, actually, 15 years.
Since 2016.
Yeah,
So you grew up in San Francisco.
I did.
Your mom is, I've heard of her, Adair Lara.
Yeah.
Great writer, like a humorist, right? A columnist for the Chronicle.
Columnist. She could be very funny. She could be very moving. She wrote about her life and like our family. I was in her column all the time. And in fact, after she published an embarrassing story about like one of my first dates, we sat down and hammered out a contract where she had to pay me $20 every time she mentioned my name in the column, and my sister as well. And, that was like early 90s. So $20 I was like,
that's pretty good
go
money.
ahead and say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was a great writer, and she has fans to this day. I mean, the column ended a long time ago, but when the New York Times thing came out and she was mentioned, there were all these people in the comments talking about her. And so she was really beloved in her day, and obviously encouraged me as a writer.
So where did you go to high school?
I went to Lowell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great school in the city.
Yeah. Great school.
And then how about college?
UCLA.
All right.
Yeah.
Dave, I want to come back to one detail.
Yeah.
Because I may use this in my own parenting. So with the $20 per mention, did that then make you say things that were more interesting or do things that were more interesting to kind of pad your allowance a little bit?
It's a good question. The answer is no, because I would have been corrupting the process by manufacturing events for her to write about. But
that's probably in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't be an ass just to get in the column.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Continue, Dave.
Okay. So UCLA Bruin, English major, creative writing.
English major. Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you, I was an English major.
Were you?
My dad told me when I told him I was going to be an English major, he said, "Oh, good. You're going to go work for one of the big 6 English firms."
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Which was a good line. Basically, like, what are you going to do with an English degree?
Yeah.
But you know what? English degrees are great.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
And your English is great.
Listen to me talk. I can't spell your name, but otherwise.
Well, it's not English.
That's my intern's fault. Okay. So English major at UCLA, great school. What do you do from there? Do you go right into being a writer? Journalism? What's your career
sort
path?
of? Yeah, I did a study abroad thing in Argentina after UCLA, and I started writing for the Buenos Aires Herald, which you probably read every day,
Of course.
but it's an English language newspaper there. And yeah, I mean, I've kind of done everything at this point. I've done advertising, I've done journalism, I've done television, but ultimately, I have some chicken in my teeth.
That's
You're using French fry to
that's
get that
ultimately
out.
where we've gotten in your life.
Ultimately, I was always a humorist. That was what I would get hired for, and then they would want me to do other things. They're like, "You're really funny. Now do this thing that's totally unrelated to that, and we'll crush your soul." That's called work.
Yeah. So you've written for Vice News Tonight. You've had humor pieces in the New Yorker. You've freelanced for the Times. So you've had some good experiences. So the actual origin story of Marin Lately, what we were told, I think by you, is you were at a dinner party and you realized that everyone was just talking about this idyllic fairy tale life that we live in Marin. The schools are great. The kids are starting surf camp. We're going to Tahoe. And you're just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, everyone basically makes up their origin story. I just kind of picked a moment. Maybe it was that, things just coalesce in a more messy way than that.
That was the straw that broke.
But
the camel's back.
was just, but maybe it was. I don't know. But there is a tendency in Marin, because it is such a nice place to live, to like constantly express gratefulness about your situation, which comes out as everything is great and Jason's starting surf camp on Monday, and you don't get to, like, people don't feel comfortable complaining, which is much more interesting. That's where the jokes come in, and like all the like connection between people comes in, because that's how everyone actually feels, no matter how nice the situation is.
Except for youth sports, that might be the exception where we can.
There you go.
There you go.
For sure.
So that's the outlet for
another headline: Marin County seniors ranked spryest in the U.S.
I mean, are they not?
Freakishly limber and disturbingly energetic, judges say.
Yeah. The spry score was a 92.
I can confirm. Being at the Bay Club, I can confirm.
Yeah. I mean, it's like all these things are, people think it's like, oh, he's making fun of Marin. I would say, honestly, if you read between the lines, I'm describing it accurately.
Yes.
And in a way that's not boring. I mean, you can just say that people, they live long lives here. They're super active to a point that's kind of shocking that I was just driving up my street the other day and there was this like 85-year-old guy. He had his poles out and he was just beaming, just ascending this hill. And I'm like, you just don't really see that. I mean, this guy should be in a recliner.
Right.
And that's just part of like the way of life here. But it's more entertaining to put it that way.
He's very spry.
Yeah.
Well, quick ER story. I work in the ER, Patrick, and as my side job, podcasting.
That's a good guy to know.
I worked a shift last week, which is in the front end of the ER, where you see like injuries, kind of rapid care type stuff. First 4 patients a day, women between the ages of 65 and 75. They had all hurt themselves doing like some sort of pretty hardcore sport, like mountain biking, trail running, surfboarding.
Pickleball.
Right. It was not a pickleball.
Oh,
no.
You said that pickleball's a lot of your...
that is a lot of it, but not on this day.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very spry.
Right. Doing things that they're not normally associated with doing.
But other parts of the country, you wouldn't see that demographic coming into the ER for those reasons.
Hunting accident.
Not in that concentration.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting because you grew up in the city.
Yeah.
So you've come to us later in life as a casual observer, a third party. And now you're here. Now you're legit. You live here. But when you grew up in San Francisco, did you always think, what did you think of Marin when you were growing up? Or did you think of Marin?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was warm.
Yeah.
I thought it was sunny.
The fog in the city. It's sunny. It's true.
Yeah. We every weekend in the summer, we would drive to my grandma's house in Santa Fe to go to her pool.
Yeah.
And nothing but good memories. And then, this was a different time, obviously, but from the time I was 10, I was riding my mountain bike by myself with my friend out from the city to the Marin headlands. So we'd be out in Marin all day. So yeah, I mean, I San Francisco is amazing. People say they like the fog. I can hate the fog. I can't stand it. It's so depressing.
It is depressing.
And I've always been drawn to this place, but I think probably what the secret sauce to like Marin Lately is that I'm kind of an insider outsider. I'm very comfortable here. I've been around it my entire life.
Yeah.
But I lived in New York for 10 years. I grew up in San Francisco. So I'm in it, but I also see it from the outside.
That's great. It gives you an awesome perspective. So David Sutton, who's Marin's public defender, broke down your readership. Here's the math. You ready? 60% are laughing guttural laughs. That's us. 20% don't get it, and 20% are mad.
Yeah.
Now, you said before we started recording that you have some people who would say, like, man, we love your stuff. You're like, not everybody does. So do you hear it from people who don't like it?
Oh, yeah. I get hate mail like pretty much every week. And it's just one, honestly, like I kind of try to identify with them. Usually it's something like, because everyone else enjoyed what they read.
Right.
And the one person, it's like usually there's like some recent or traumatic personal experience with that particular subject. It just makes them really upset. And it's like, I've spent a lot of time in comedy clubs. And you'll see that happen there too, where comedian jokes about something and somebody's like, I've done it. I was at a comedy club and the comedian was making fun of Parkinson's. He was making fun of Michael J. Fox. And he was making fun of everything. But then when it came to my thing, because my dad had it, and he had just got diagnosed, and I had like an emotional breakdown.
So that was raw. It was raw for you.
So it was super raw, and I was completely wrong. But it's just going to happen. That's just the nature. That's just sort of like how humor works. There is going to be someone for whom it doesn't land right.
Yeah.
What's an example? I mean, it doesn't seem like you're that edgy. It just seems like as you say, you're mainly pointing out the truth about Marin in a humorous way.
There was one thing, it was like, I don't want to talk about the person, but I was talking about divorce was like the general subject. And this person got extremely upset and had an experience of that was like traumatic. I mean, it was so unexpected. That's what I mean. Right. It's not even like that wasn't edgy at all.
Right.
But
hit a nerve.
It's just the cost of doing business. And I'm like, I basically like agree with the person. I'm like, I'm really sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as a humorist, it's just the cost of,
That's
you
what
just have to live with it and just know that like your intentions are not to upset anyone.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen.
Another one of my favorites, because this is hit close to home. Cracks emerge in story about, quote, exciting new restaurant. I really love that. Because in Marin, we're hungry for exciting new restaurants.
Totally. And then cracks emerge.
Cracks emerge. Wow. Sources say. Okay. So have you thought about a book?
I have. And I have a book agent reached out very early on and she was like, we got to do a book.
Yeah.
But at the same time, boringly, the economics of publishing right now are just abysmal.
Yeah.
And so actually the stage at that stage, what you do now is actually make a podcast versus making a book, just because the sales numbers just like don't support it.
Yeah. We could talk to you about the economics of a podcast. They're not great either. That's a separate topic.
Yeah, right.
You'll have better luck than we do.
Scoot those boys over here.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I hope that you can get a broader audience for what you do, because what you do is amazing. But it's so because we actually, Duffy and I talk about this too. Like we like what we do here. It's also very niche-y. But your humor is translatable to it can go beyond Marin, right? So like,
yeah, Marin is also like a way of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's like a
kind
concept.
of a metaphor for something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably where the future of Marin Lately lies.
Yeah.
Without getting into like specifics, but
Right.
there's a huge percentage of shocking percentage of my subscribers do not live here. They live in Connecticut. They live in Albuquerque.
Oh,
They
interesting.
live in Bend, Oregon. And it more or less reflects what's going. They're like, it's close enough.
Right.
Now, do you think they're expats?
Right.
Are they Marin natives who moved, or are they just find it really entertaining?
Like usually they have some kind of Marin connection. Maybe they have like a sister here or something like that who sent it to them.
Right.
But they see their lives reflected in it pretty closely. And it's because, it's like, this is like a portion of society that's actually not often described, because it's not like cities are obviously just action-packed and interesting. And then like the countryside is like romanticized, but like the suburbs are kind of like, who wants to hear about the suburbs?
Right.
Sort of,
Right.
But it's also where like millions and millions of people live.
Totally.
So
This is life. Well, it's interesting because there's a relatability to what you do.
not that Marin is a suburb, but
No.
that's another article.
It's an enclave.
It's a little Shangri-La.
Right. There's a relatability to what you do, right? So we all read this stuff. We send it to each other. And I think a lot of us in the back of our minds are thinking like, God, man, I could have done that. Like these are such great observations. They're so obvious, but they're so brilliant. But it reminds me of how I felt when I first started to read Bill Simmons way back in the day, before Bill Simmons was a national, he was a Boston sports guy.
Right.
On GeoCities or whatever. And I would read his stuff in the 90s, and he had really funny, relatable things, obviously very sports focused. But it's high praise for you. I mean, it's just the fact that it's relatable, but also it's really not easy what you do. But it looks like it would be easy, but it's not.
Well, the observations are kind of easy, but then actually, packaging the observations in a way that like just hits.
And those pithy headlines they're brilliant.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
Not that they're brilliant. I'm not saying that's right, but I am saying that these are actually thoughts that we all have in common.
Yeah.
And packaging them in a certain way, even the timing, the word choice in the headline is really important, or else it just becomes that observation, which isn't necessarily worth its weight in gold.
Right.
It's just sort of like, yeah, everyone kind of knows that, but it reflects what people are thinking. And so kind of, and I think that all the time when I'm watching a great comedian or whatever, I'm like, I thought of that joke. I think that, but I didn't say that. And I didn't say it the way he did.
Yes.
And that's, that's just kind of like all art is sort of like that as well, right? You see something and you're kind of like, it's such a good idea. It feels like it's your idea.
Feels like it's your idea.
And it can be.
And Nate Bargatze is a great example of that, right?
Oh,
he's just very deadpan, and he talks about mundane daily things, and his observations are so funny. And the whole time you're thinking like, God, yeah, I've thought that 700 times. right? And he just has this ability to communicate it in a way that's really, really funny. Okay, another great headline. Fairfax couple hasn't done ayahuasca together in months.
That could be me.
That's why I looked at you, Duff.
That's when you know they're on the rocks.
Yeah. So what's your process? Like, do you go to Good Earth? Do you go to Equator with your laptop and just sit there and judge people? Do you do it at home? Do you go on walks and talk into your voice memos and your phone? Like, how do you come up with this stuff?
All of the above. I'm not one of these people who has like a really like dialed in process.
Yeah.
And in fact, the more I try to do it that way, the worse the result is. It's much better for me to essentially just be open and thinking about things like right now. Even.
Right.
And you're just looking around and you're just picking up on what feel like those like shared observations that maybe haven't been said yet. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would say that 75% of my ideas just go straight into my phone.
Yeah.
On like an open Google Doc.
Yeah.
And I just put down the observation and then I think about it while I'm driving and I start to laugh and I get some jokes going. That's the best way the process works.
And
rather than just like sitting at a laptop all day long, like trying to think of something. And actually, it's very counterproductive.
What's the cadence for you? Like, in a given week, how many articles do you ideally want to generate?
Well, I send twice a week, generally Wednesdays and Fridays, although sometimes it's Wednesdays and Saturdays now, but I'm always up against it. I mean, I do not have a stockpile. Every single week, I'm like, what am I going to write this week?
Writer's block.
And it's been like that since the very beginning. I mean, when I started, I wrote like 15. I was like, I'm going to need a little padding here to get going. But once I ran through all those very quickly, I've been week to week the entire time, check to check.
So, and how long are the articles typically for people who aren't members yet? You're going to get a bunch of subscribers after this, but
yeah, right. They're short and they're short on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, people just don't have
little digestible.
Yeah. They just don't have attention spans right now. And honestly, it's like, if you can just get, a great headline, 1 to 3 paragraphs and have it either all be funny or all be setting up something funny.
Yeah.
That's like the best thing you can do for the reader rather than just like, let me just blabbering on.
Sure.
Make your point, get those jokes, get it really, really tight and let that person, I think that's
what's the headline that often really is the point anyway. And then there's a little bit of extra material.
Yeah.
Do you write the headline first or do you how does that work?
Headline first. The headline has to be good to get me going where I'm like, okay, this is funny. I can see it going out. People people are going to get it. Everything about it is like nice and tight. And then I have the momentum I need to do the rest of it, which is, it's like the headline is the main joke and it's probably 80% of what you take away from it. And then the body is sub jokes. It allows you to like explore the issue and you have to find these sub jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways that a kid could be uncoordinated. So you can just kind of dig into that. But the dad's going to have free time regardless.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like this one. Suburban consumer cannot wait to try private equity backed bakery.
You know what?
So
and it's
true.
funny. This is one of those ones where it feels like a critique of like some, like the modern economy and how things are, and like these things are being foisted on us unsuspecting by like private equity firms. The truth is we're all excited for the Tartine to open.
Totally. Of course. We love, we love Equator. Equator's not private equity backed. Sorry.
I don't know Tartine. It doesn't matter. This is just something that is just it's happening all over the
Totally.
And it's just the dynamic, but the enthusiasm is real.
Yeah. 100%. That's great. Okay. We should talk about sports, Patrick.
Yeah.
Because we're a sports podcast. So you have kids.
Yeah.
Are they involved in youth sports?
They're starting soccer.
Okay.
All 3. So I have twins, boy-girl twins who are 5 and an 8-year-old.
Okay.
The 8-year-old did soccer before. It was boring. But my son is doing BMX. So I'm trying to see whether he's going to be like a solo sport guy or a team sport guy. I think he really wants to. I think he wants to play almost everything. So we'll see how it goes. But we also just like we had a 2-year-old and then we had twins. This is during the pandemic. So we had 3 under 3.
Oh, wow.
It's like one of the tougher hands you can be dealt in terms of just handling that,
Craziness.
those like 2 or 3 years. And so we're still kind of recovering and like, still trying to get out of almost everything extra about taking care of the kids that we can. But anyway, I'm all for them getting into sports, and we'll just kind of see what they are drawn to.
Okay. Another headline. Marin parents arrested for not taking kids to Tahoe.
Yeah, I feel like we're like the only ones. Again, that's another one. I grew up going to Tahoe. My parents took me all the time.
Sure.
But because of the situation I mentioned before, like I need them to be able to all keep track of their own gloves before we can go.
Okay.
Once we cross that milestone.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
But like, I cannot imagine like trudging around in the snow and like with everybody's gear and my own at this age.
Yeah, those ages, I'm having heart palpitations thinking about twin 5-year-olds at Tahoe. Tundra has a play date with Yucatan. That's a good headline.
Were those names you actually encountered with your?
Somebody sent me some highlights from like a parents group that they were in, and he's like, "You will not believe the names on this."
Yeah. So there's this interesting humor, ecosystem on social media now, right? Have you seen Private Equity Guy? Have you seen him?
He does an impression usually of like a San Francisco tech or private equity.
San Francisco or the Hamptons. And
yeah, right.
His is just, and it's funny. He's just this guy, like you. He's a really funny guy, and he started doing these videos of Private Equity Guy talking about his wealth is substantial, and their son Tarantino, has. So there's that guy. There's this guy Matt Lyons who's really funny. He does these. He'll be like, I'm a coffee connoisseur. Hey, what's up? My name's Cortado. Nice to meet you. He's that guy. So there's this ecosystem of these kind of social media influencers who are humorous. Is there like a meeting of you guys? Do you have like quarterly meetings of like the funny people online?
I don't really see myself that way. I post on Instagram. I just basically post the work I do that I publish.
Yeah.
Normally.
You don't do videos. You just post your articles.
So I make videos, but I'm not in them.
Okay.
You can go check out the latest ones. I think they're great. They actually get the least attention of anything that we do, but it just like any artist, your greatest works get ignored.
Of course.
Until you're long dead, like centuries from now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm reluctant to get into that part of things of just like sticking my face into a camera and
right.
I mean, I'm a writer primarily.
Right.
But those, I'm entertained by it. I'll watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice. I'll say there's something really nice about being a writer in that people know who you are if you tell them, but you can just go about your business. No, your face isn't associated with anything. So you don't have to just, like if you're at the grocery store and you're like, I would prefer not to talk to anyone on this particular trip.
Right.
Podcasting, same deal.
Same thing.
You just can't talk because then you'll be immediately recognized.
We have great anonymity here at the Hub. So writer's block, it's interesting you talk about that. I mean, that's got to be a challenging thing for you to deal with sometimes as a writer.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's so easy that it feels criminal, like it's like takes no effort whatsoever. And I'm like, wow, that's what a great deal. But there are times when it's just blood from the stone. And I'm like, I'm sitting there for hours and hours. And it's just some days I just don't feel like writing and I have to write through it. And again, some other days it's just like making a little joke and just twiddle it up and put it out and everything's great. So I think that, but if you're going to do this in a semi-serious way, you have to fight through the tough days.
It's your job.
The easy days.
I heard Nikki Glaser in an interview recently, great stand-up comedian, and she was talking about writer's block, that she had just toured on this hour and it was great. And she had a special out. And now she's got a new tour and she's got to come up with an hour. And she's like, I've got writer's block. And she was talking to Chris Rock and he said, you got to read. So the kind of the way that he deals with writer's block is kind of flex the muscle and read. I thought that was interesting. So everybody's got their own process, but like, so for you, if you're sitting there and you just can't figure it out, what do you do? Do you go for a hike? Do you run?
I'm still working it out and I'll probably be working it out for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I find I have to the best thing I can do is get myself into a good mood one way or another.
Okay.
Could be going to the gym. It could be going for a hike, like something just that just takes you out. Some days I'm just kind of depressed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, this whole situation feels actually quite bleak to me, and I don't have any jokes for you guys today.
Right.
Just don't.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the weight of the world on me, and like I and then other days you just feel light as a feather. So yeah, I think it's really about getting yourself into a good mood. It could also I'll just put on something that I find like hilarious, like old episodes of 30 Rock, which is probably like, the best comedy writing that there is. Anyway, it's just getting myself like laughing, feeling light again.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't always work.
Perfect. So perfect segue into another question I had for you. Who are your comedy heroes? Like whether it's stand-up, writers, movies, TV shows, like who do you look up to? 30 Rock's a great first place to start. I mean, incredible.
Tina Fey is just incredible.
Tina Fey's incredible.
Because she's also a writer. That's the thing
Exactly.
about her. I mean, she's a great performer, but she's actually the creator of what she's doing.
Yeah.
I love Steve Coogan.
Yeah, love him. The Trip.
And because it's kind of, he's very versatile. He's done books.
Yeah.
He does live stuff. He's just a general sort of auteur, and he has a point of view that is just weird. A lot of it, like it like Alan Partridge is only like half funny, but once you get into it, it becomes hilarious.
Well, he's a great, I mean, he's obviously an incredible impressionist. His Michael Caine's ridiculously good, but he's also a really good dramatic actor too.
Totally.
So he's got tons of range. He's great. I love him.
Yeah, he's cool. And I mean, a lot of them are, my heroes of like comedy are actually not comedians. They're, writers. Like Martin Amis is probably he's the funniest writer who's ever lived. And once you really get in, he's also just, his mastery of the English language is just unbelievable. The way he describes things as they've never been described before, and he refuses to use a cliche famously. And it's very like, that's something that I think about a lot when I'm doing this or when I'm doing anything. But just like, I've had some of my hardest laughs just like reading his novels.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Yeah. It's kind of scattered, I mean, I'm not like, I love stand up, but it's only one way of expressing that kind of thing.
Totally. That's great.
You have an editor? Does your wife help with editing or?
No, I have a producer who helps me with all the like technical stuff because I'm absolutely useless, or at least pretend to be, so I don't have to do that. So I edit it myself, and I'm like pretty brutal. Like I'm like, if it's not good, like I know it's not good, and I'm not going to send something out that the person like it's got to get me laughing first. Like affix your own face mask first, kind of a thing.
So you're pretty good at killing your babies, just getting stuff out. If it's 4 paragraphs and you're like, it really should be 3, which paragraph to cut out.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I would say like, I don't know if I'm good at killing my babies. I'm good at like performing open heart surgery on them until I save their life.
Yeah.
Like I like refuse. I'm like, I know this idea, like it'll be sitting in my Google Doc, and it's not working, but I'm not going to abandon it. I have to find a new approach to it. And then sometimes it'll be like weeks or months later. I'm like, that's how you say it. And then it works, and it didn't work at all before. So, I never give up on a patient.
Okay. Where can people follow Marin Lately? How do people find you, support you? Give us a plug.
Yeah. You just go to marinlately.com and hit subscribe. You can be a free subscriber or a paid subscriber. Either way, you're going to be getting, everything we send out. Follow it. It's Marin Lately on Instagram. And that's really it. That's all you need to do.
And then when you write your book and have your podcast and create your movie, everybody will go buy tickets.
Yeah, well, hopefully. And I will tease that I'm going to be doing a live version of Marin Lately.
I was going to ask.
Here at a great venue.
Awesome.
And so this just happened. This just got like signed into law on Friday. So it's going to be really fun. And I think it'll be kind of like a climax of the project.
Okay.
And it'll be like the entire journey packed into one night.
A one-man show, or are you going to have guests? Or?
Not a show, because I'm not a showman.
Okay.
It'll be more of like a presentation. But it'll just be a way. The one piece that has been missing from this for me was not feeling it collectively. Like as I've said, like I send it out. I don't really know I don't hear anybody laughing. Yeah. Sometimes people will write in. They're like, "Oh, that was so funny," etc. And I'm like, I guess I'll keep going. but I'd love to see, like I did an event like this in San Francisco and we nearly sold out the place there.
Awesome.
And it was just really fun. Like it was just like, there's sort of like a collective catharsis going on with it, right? Now, I think that's why the article was kind of big, because there were just there were all these people in the comments of the New York Times article who had hilarious stories of their own or like takes on this kind of stuff. And so I'm thinking the live version will provide that like missing part of it, where like people get to experience it together.
Awesome.
It
Great
is
idea.
officially lunchtime right now for Archie Williams High School, Dave, as you may have noticed.
No, AI is taking it all out, Duff.
The local high school cafeteria is serving grass-fed burgers for under $35 right here at Strauss Ice Cream.
That's right.
They actually do have a lunch special for the high school students here. I think it's like $10 or something. Good deal.
Duff, anything else you want to hit before we get to crunch time? I'm excited for crunch time.
Well, maybe we could just have a little brainstorm. I don't want to maybe you're thinking of material that you're going to put out there with regards to youth sports, but there are certain aspects of youth sports in Marin that probably are also translate to elsewhere that could be fodder, right? Like, for example, every kid getting an award.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I mean, what you have the parents that come down and like they've got like the full tent sort of apparatus and they're bringing the boom box. It's like every game is like its own little tailgate.
Yeah, totally.
What else, Dave? I mean, we've been involved in youth sports, and then it's a lot.
Here's what I know about youth sports. This is all I see. Marin Catholic eviscerates so and so. Marin Catholic annihilates. Oh no, we said that yesterday. What is going on in Marin Catholic? I was near this school. This is like a year ago, and I was picking up my kids near there, and I saw this kid. He's like 16, and he's like a fully grown man. He's like so much stronger than me. And he must have been late for practice or something. And there was like a 12-foot fence, and he just like more or less just jumped over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that child could beat the shit out of him. Like so easily.
Yes.
Like what is going on with this school? Because it's kind of hilarious. With this, like, Marin is like, we're a pretty soft culture. It's almost like a Scandinavian place, but we've got this like powerhouse that again eviscerates, annihilates, decapitates, and
Full disclosure, Duffy coaches at Marin Catholic.
get out of here. It's amazing, but
I can't say I'm an expert though. You know, I went to Marin Academy, so I went to a very different George Lucas artsy sort of school, and then my kids have gone to Archie Williams, you know, the public school in Santa Monica, which is it's a all different culture there. 1 year at Marin Catholic. It is different, good in a lot of great ways, but they do get athletes, especially for football, and those football athletes then, you know, they often play other sports and they're good at a couple sports. So I think that's a lot of it. But it is interesting. There were multiple games we played this year where our coach was saying like, that team over there, they think we're just wimpy white kids and a few African Americans from Marin, and they're just going to beat our asses. Right. Because we're wimpy, soft white kids.
right.
So that was actually used in reverse. I'm not sure how effective that psychology was, but
Right. That's funny. Like a related story. When I went to UCLA, I played a lot of pickup basketball, and I was playing with this guy who is fucking sick. I mean, he's obviously an elite athlete. He's dunking on everybody. He's just 10 times better than anybody else on the court.
Yeah.
After the game was over, I was like, where are you playing ball? And he's like basketball. And he's like, no, I'm a baseball player. And I was like, you know what I mean? He's so good. That's not even his sport.
Right.
These guys are just on a complete other level.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I get it.
That's why you're a writer.
That's why, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Shortly after that, I tore my ACL and MCL at the same time at UCLA. And so that was really the end of basketball. As
playing basketball you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Landed from a rebound just straight legged, and it just bowed out to the side, snapped. Everyone in the gym was like, oh!
Yeah. That's no fun.
And I've since retorn ligaments in that same knee a couple of times. So
did you try and play basketball again after that, or is that not really?
no, I never really played the same again. Like I that was my jumping leg. I couldn't really jump anymore. So like all of a sudden you're pretty traumatized. I mean, I was off the leg for basically a year. Surgery's way better now. But at that time I was laid up for like 3 months, and then surgery has like 6 months of rehab and everything else. But yeah, I never really went back to it, but it's fine. I mean, I'm super active. I'd actually play tons of ping pong. I love biking, and I'm like things I just like know I'm not going to hurt myself.
Have you picked up the pickleball craze?
No,
Good for you. Stay strong.
can't do it. If I'm going to play, I'll play tennis, but even that's like
Okay.
slightly iffy for me.
And the new one is padel. Now that's becoming quite popular.
Yeah.
Is that the paddle one?
It's paddle. It's like between tennis and pickleball.
Is it paddleboard or is it?
No, it's
No.
called padel. It's
Oh.
Portuguese.
It's like elitist pickleball.
Sure.
It's like it's more expensive, and you're not invited. That's the idea.
Exactly. I would like to see a padel headline on Marin Lately.
Yeah,
Have you done a
it's gonna-
pickleball? Have you done a headline with pickleball? I haven't seen it.
I just did a little one recently. It was like pickleball mentions down significantly. Like a year ago, I mean, you'd hear that word literally 10 times every day.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden people just completely stop talking about it, which is great. Like, have fun, go play it, but we can stop talking about pickleball, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Quick, before crunch time, I'm going to quickly workshop something. You can make it good or not. But you know how, like in youth soccer, like at least when I was a kid, youth soccer, like, the moms and dads would bring out the orange slices, like for halftime.
Yeah.
What if they're delivering like chai tea lattes?
Yeah.
Then,
Right,
and
right.
guys, the kids.
I
for a
think it would
second.
be weed gummies today.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's.
I see. That's one of the, you've now entered like my creative process. That would need to be dialed up because that is probably basically true.
Right.
Like that's actually happening.
Right.
And so you have to push it.
Another level.
There's a lot of people who want to write for Marin Lately, and they send me stories and stuff like that. And the general note is like, you have to push this way further.
Right.
Because this sounds like straight reporting. But this is
Yeah, this-
Yeah.
Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's good.
Very true.
Well, I'll work on it.
Yeah. Good try, Duff. He will keep your resume on file. Okay, Patrick, rank Marin cities based on how boring they are.
Gibron's number one.
Most boring.
Always has been. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was the first article I think I ever put up
Yeah.
because I've been like going there with my parents to like visit friends and stuff like that since I was a kid. It's the least kid friendly town, or at least it was then.
Yeah.
And just like I'd be in the back of my parents' Volvo, like get me out of this place. No. It's also, it's very beautiful, and we all know that.
Okay.
It wants to be boring by the way.
What's
It's boring on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. What's second place for most boring?
Terralinda?
Oh. Wow.
I actually don't
You just
know.
upset 4 of our listeners.
Yeah, right.
I think that's fair. It's in the mix.
Well, Northgate Shopping Center has become it used to be a thing.
Well, they're getting the Good Earth.
We're getting the good earth.
That's
In
gonna that's
4
gonna
years.
completely transform Terralinda.
It will.
Yeah.
I do like Scotty's Market.
Right.
Monk's Kettle.
Monk's Kettle's great. Good beer.
And you got the driving range out there, and like they're starting to have some cool stuff like to do with the kids, like go to the climbing gym and things like that. But my grandma actually lived in that trailer park
Oh, right.
on Lucas Valley Road
Valley, yeah.
on the on the way going east.
Nice.
And that's where the communal pool was that we went to. But I do remember also being there as a kid. I'm like, I was happy to go hang at the pool, but I remember there being really nothing to do.
Right.
It's like extremely suburban.
Okay. What is the most exciting city or town in Marin? The least boring.
I'd say probably Fairfax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's got,
Maybe
it
around
has
that.
like,
Got live music.
got live music. You've got like just a less stiff overall kind of
A
attitude.
fog of marijuana smoke
Yeah.
wafting.
It's all good in Fairfax. Yeah.
You might see Jesus walking down the street there.
You might.
I mean, it's happened before.
That's a good point.
Stillwater just is
Great
great.
place.
Like that could be in like San Francisco and it would be great.
It's a great place.
Something.
I love it.
What's it called? Is it izakaya? What's the Japanese place again?
Village Sake.
Village Sake.
Awesome. None
Like-
of these are sponsors, by the way.
Mas
Please sponsor us, everybody.
On a nice warm day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great. No, Fairfax is awesome. Santa Fe also. I'm a Santa Fe native. Santa Fe's got some excitement to it.
Yeah.
But this is not your rankings, Dave.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay.
But let's make it clear, none of these towns are actually exciting. You just said the most exciting of Southeast town.
Of course.
We didn't move here to be excited. That's
It's all
the point.
relative. It's all relative. Okay. Your favorite topic or topics on Marin County next door. Give us an example of.
Scam alerts.
That's been big recently. Yeah, a lot of scam alerts. Yeah.
Nextdoor basically runs on scam alerts. I mean, it's great. People are, I think the overall like impulse is people trying to like protect each other from, but they kind of create a reality in which there are scammers everywhere, which I don't think is actually the case. So people are on alert. Like,
Yep.
and my favorite thing I've noticed about Nextdoor is that all those type of posts, they start with "please be aware," and then there's 3 exclamation points.
Right. Yes. The red exclamation point.
But what are you going to do? And that's what it takes to keep the community safe.
The biggest scam that I've seen on there is probably the bobcat that is masquerading as a mountain lion that then leads to watch out, there's a mountain lion in your backyard.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
How many of those are actually mountain lions?
Yeah.
I think that happens.
Probably a golden retriever.
Too wishful.
Okay. Important question. Cold plunge or sauna, Patrick?
Gotta have both. Don't love a sauna without a cold plunge option near it. I want to be hot and then cold.
Your Marin is showing. That was a
But
big
that being
Marin
said,
answer.
I don't want a cold plunge at all if I don't have a sauna nearby. So it has to be sauna.
Okay. Duffy and I are coffee aficionados. We love the coffee. Do you have a favorite coffee place in Marin?
No, I have an espresso machine.
So Patrick's coffee is the best one.
Yeah, we're just like we're not really part of that life. Our kids are too little. So It's not like we're like going out for coffee in the morning. We're dealing with them and making coffees at home.
Yeah.
But, we do use Equator generally.
Way to support the local business.
And it's fine. It's delicious. I'm not a coffee nerd, so this is kind of a dead end for you. But
You can't see my weeping. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite basketball gym in Marin? We ask everybody on this podcast their favorite gym because normally we're talking to basketball nerds.
Right. I don't know a single one. I grew up, from the time I was in elementary school, again, this was a different period of history, but I would go to Eureka Valley Park, which is a park and rec in San Francisco, and I'd be there alone with my friends from the time school got out at 3 until 7:30 at night, on and off playing basketball, drinking sodas, hanging out, and then just go home on my own on the bus.
So that counts. Eureka Valley.
Yeah, that's my home gym.
Is it still there?
Still there? Yeah, I haven't been in years, but still there.
Awesome. Okay, favorite restaurant in Marin? I know you have young kids at home. Got to pick one.
Tastiest is Village Sake.
Yeah.
I'm very partial to Japanese food. We'd have to shout out Pizza Hacker because I have little kids and we have to go there whether we like it or not. And
I believe there was a Marin Lately headline about that one. Antitrust regulators move to end Pizza Hacker's chokehold on local families.
That just came from in our like friend group. Anytime the idea of going out for dinner comes up, someone just goes, Pizza Hacker? And we're like, yeah. That's like a pirate ship structure back there. And they crucially, they let your kids more or less do what they want, which is uncommon in Marin. Although another place that I don't want to bill it that way, but Tam Tavern is also great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's welcoming to kids. And now the food is really good. They have an amazing, French dip or prime rib sandwich.
That's the new place that used to be where Floodwater was, right? Like
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's got insane screens, like movie theater size screens. I mean, that's basically where to watch sports in Southern Marin.
Side note, I'm not suggesting this as a topic, but Duffy, our friend Charles Hovler, and I were meeting for drinks one day.
Yeah.
About a year or two ago. And we're texting each other like, okay, cool, meet you there. And one of us went to Stillwater in Fairfax. One of us went to Watershed in Mill Valley. And one of us went to Floodwater.
Yeah, right.
And we were joking like there's these water themed bar restaurants.
Totally.
They need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
So we all literally went
conference call out.
We literally all went to a different place. We're like, where are we going?
Go to Sweetwater.
Go to Sweetwater.
Yeah. I know it gets confusing.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, we don't have to get that creative with the names, right? And it can be a little confusing. I think that's fine.
I agree. Duffy, anything else for our friend Patrick?
We appreciate your time, and hopefully we provided you, some smidgen of inspiration.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you're going to get a Marin Lately headline out of this, which is a local writer turns out to be a blithering idiot. Exposed.
You can say the same about local podcasters as frauds.
We'll out each other all the same time.
No, really appreciate you doing this. Love what you do. Thank you for doing what you do. We're huge fans. We're cheering for you. Keep it going. And
thank you for making us laugh and making the community laugh. If you can't laugh at yourself, what can you laugh at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I'm probably the main subject of most of my stories. A lot of them are secretly just about me, but
right.
You guys do a great job. I mean, I love that you guys have picked a super niche thing as well, but there's something beautiful about it because, you can kind of own it.
Yeah.
And you guys do it sounds like a proper sports radio talk show.
It's fun.
All about Marin local sports and high school sports. And it's awesome.
We're dominating the Marin basketball podcast. We're vertical.
Fending off our competition left and right.
Tallest midget.
Lucrative multi-billion-dollar market.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, Patrick. We appreciate
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey, dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Sam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. The